Hi guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back again for another stream, and in today's video, we will be discussing transfer tips for Game Week 9. It's been a while since we've done a stream. I think our last stream was about 5-6 days ago, so haven't had a break for that long in a while. But it's nice to be back. International football is pretty much finished. There's still a few games on, I believe, today and tomorrow, but that's out the way. FPL is back after that little break. But yeah, good to see you back, Jordan. How you been? Obviously, I know you haven't been feeling too well, but are you happy the FPL and the football's back again?
Yeah, I'm very happy to see it back after the little break that we've had from it. And yeah, I'm feeling better, thanks, as I haven't been feeling so well the past last week, obviously.
Yeah, now nice to see you back, man. And yeah, also we are going to get into it for the transfer tips for Game Week 9. Um, and yeah, this is the buy, sell, hold, and ignore series, as you guys know. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's bring up the first players that you should be looking to bring into your team for Game Week 9 and even potentially beyond Game Week 9 as well. So, first player that we're bringing up, that is Mo Salah. Now, Salah is a bit of a big topic discussion point because Game Week 8 wildcarders, pretty much 99.9% of those people, I'd say, don't have Salah in their team. Now, obviously, I'm wildcarding in Game Week 9, and my plan is to bring in Mo Salah in my wildcard because he's got a good fixture against Brighton at home. So I'm wildcarding in 9 and I'm bringing him in. But for people like Jordan who did wildcard in Game Week 8, it leaves them a little scenario where do they bring in Salah to play that fixture against Brighton, or are they better off just hoping that he doesn't score anything against Brighton and then maybe avoiding him for Arsenal and Man City? Now, I'm of the opinion that you should still look to bring him in if you can, because I still think that Brighton fixture is good. I mean, Salah did go away on international break with Egypt. He did only play one game, and then he didn't play in the second game. He got let off international duty early, so that's a bit of good news for us Salah owners that he's back early, and he should be fresh, ready to go for that game against Brighton at home. So as a Game Week 9 wildcarder myself, I am actually quite happy to own Salah as a bit of a differential. And I know, as a lot of Game Week 8 wildcarders, they can't really bring him in without taking a hit or potentially not bringing him in at all. But I still believe Salah is a buy if you're on a Game Week 9 wildcard. And even if you did wildcard last week, I still think you can get to Salah and it's a good move because we know he hasn't been at his optimal best. But, 6 appearances, 2 goals, 3 assists. Numbers aren't too bad still. If you look at his underlying numbers, his XG per 90 is still 0.42 and his expected assist per 90 is still 0.29. So it's still quite respectable in that sense. Fixtures is where it gets a bit, interesting because he's got Brighton, which I do think is a good fixture at home for him. But then in game week 10 and 11, he's got Arsenal and Man City, two, tough fixtures against, two teams that have been playing really well this season. So there is an argument, can you just forget about Salah till, game week 12 when you've got West Ham, which we will come on to, Jordan, as well, what your thoughts are on Salah. But for me, he's still a buy, just because I think that fixtures are still a good, and the fact that he's a bit of a differential, his ownership's dropped, and I think his price is due to drop again. I don't know if that will happen before the deadline or not, but yeah, what do you make of Salah, Jordan? Do you still think that Brighton fixture? Liverpool haven't played in a while. Obviously because of the international break and also the postponement Liverpool had in game week 8. Do you think he's one that you can see potentially, causing some damage to some, a potterless Brighton?
Well, with the rest that Liverpool have had in general as well, and the way Liverpool have been from Game Week 8 from the start of the season, it's obviously not impressed many people, and obviously Salah has not been impressive enough for people to keep him, as we see from his ownership. This explains it all why. And I think for this moment, in obviously Game Week 9 with Brighton at home, you can probably choose to either risk going without Salah and then bring him in Game Week 12, which I would imagine is what people's plans are if they don't want to bring him in now. Or if you're, for example, me, bring him in game week 9, where he has Brighton at home, which is the best fixture that Liverpool have in terms of difficulty rating until game week 12. So there is two options with Salah, but I think the best option for me personally is bringing him in back in game week 9 against Brighton, especially with his ownership at its lowest at 35.2% and continues to drop. And also his price is is lingering at 12.9. It's meant to fall very soon to 12.8, which I'm hoping it does very soon because I do want to get him at 12.8 Salah. So you do get him at 0.1 cheaper once he drops in price as well, if you do buy him at the right time. So with all that in mind, we have to eventually see improvements from Liverpool. And I believe that the Brighton home fixture at Game Week 9 is probably the first match where we're going to see this reformed Liverpool back to its normal stage. Especially with the injured players now back in training and back in the squad, obviously, like Thiago, for example, and Matip, where they didn't have that before. I think Liverpool now, with those players back with experience, they can improve overall. And I think, especially with Salah, we will see his numbers improve, like his goals and assists, which are a little bit underwhelmed with 2 goals and 3 assists as far as game week 8, but they did miss a game as well. It was postponed in game week 8. So, yeah, Salah as a buy at this moment in time, depending on what your plan is, I would definitely highly suggest buying Salah for game week 9 with the Brighton at home fixture, especially at Anfield Stadium as well. You have the home advantage too to go with it.
Yeah, obviously I'm bringing him in he's on my wild card. I'm pretty certain he's going to be there. Whether you bring him in as a captain, we will talk about captain picks on Thursday when we do our team selection. Because there's Haaland that has Manchester United, there's Salah that has Brighton, so there is a debate to be had. Do you captain Salah? Do you captain Haaland? I'm actually leaning towards Haaland at the moment, but that could obviously change. Maybe I do go Salah. We'll wait and see. But I do think Haaland is also a good captain pick for Game Week 9. But for me, he's a definitely buy for us Game Week 9 wildcarders. Surely you have Salah as a bit of a differential against Brighton. But yeah, long term, I still think Salah, I'd want him in my team personally. I know a lot of people aren't, too keen on him at the moment, where they think there's more value in Son or Kane or even KDB. But I'm quite happy having Salah on my Game Week 9 wildcard. So for me, he is a buy. So yeah, Salah is the first buy on our list. Got some comments in. We've got Kobe in the chat. We've also got Brian in the chat to say hi, lads. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for joining. And Brian also said, would be ideal if you could get Salah with one free transfer. Yep, fair enough. Let's move on to the next player that is on our list as a buy as well for Game Week 9. And this one is Tony. I think Tony is going to be on a lot of people's list now because look at his price. He's only 7.2 million. And we know the fixture run that Brentford have. He's got 5 goals already this season, 2 assists. His underlying numbers are also pretty decent, goals and assist wise. The XG looks quite good, 0.39, for XG per 90, and then 0.27 for expected assists per 90. So I do like Tony. At the moment, he's not coming into my wildcard 19, which may be a bit hypocritical of me, but I will explain why he's not coming to my team later on my wildcard videos. But for me, he is still probably, one of the better strikers to target. Look at their fixtures. Game Week 9, Bournemouth away. Game Week 10, they've got Newcastle. 11, they play Brighton, Chelsea, Villa. So you could just keep Tony until the World Cup probably because he's got good fixtures up until Game Week 16. And I think he's one of those players that will tick along and get you nice points. And in that price bracket, 7.2 million, especially, we'll come on to Isak with his injury. Tony looks like an easy transfer to make if you don't have him and you need a striker around that, price mark. And a lot of us have Mitrovic. A lot of us want to play three up top. I think Mitrovic, Tony, Haaland could become a bit template, or even we'll come to other strikers as well, like Solanke, who's a bit cheaper. But around that price bracket, I do think Tony's definitely one you want to take a punt on. And as Game Week 9, would you say he has the best fixture, Jordan, in Game Week 9? Bournemouth away looks quite good for a haul, potentially.
Other than Leicester, who have Nottingham Forest, I'd say next to them, yeah, Brentford do have the best fixture in Game Week 9. I'll just say it's probably closer to Leicester because Nottingham Forest is home for them, but because of Bournemouth's performance this season, they have conceded the most goals in the season. So yeah, by that statistic, they're probably the best fixture to target for Brentford, and in particular Tony as well because of his goal machine. He has been like 5 goals and 2 assists already this season, making 7 appearances in those, which isn't not bad. He's outperforming many strikers and players like Salah, for example. He's not scored as many as Tony Salah has. So yeah, he's doing really well. His ownership is not too high. It's only 20.7%. So he's not highly owned. So he's a good one to go for if you're thinking of buying Tony. And his price is not to be argued with either, 7.2 million. Again, he's another player that is going to rise in price nearer the time of the deadline for Game Week 9. So if you are thinking of buying Tony in, make sure you keep an eye on his price rises because he is a player that is due to rise any day now. There's been transfers coming in for Tony, and the price rises are a bit on and off at the moment, obviously, because there ain't enough transfers for his price to jump. But he will soon jump to 7.3 million, and if in doubt, go up even further if he does well against Bournemouth, especially.
Also, he's had 194,000 transfers in, so he's quite popular as a move this week. So yeah,
there you go then. And there's many reasons why is that. It's like Huss mentioned, you can hold Tony till the World Cup pretty much with the fixtures Brentford have, and you won't arguably get rid of Tony once you buy him in as a striker, because even though there's so many choices to go with for forwards, I think Brentford have, let's say, the nicest fixtures if we don't count Newcastle. But obviously with Isak's injury, that does change things for choosing that third forward position. And Tony is probably the next guy to probably go for. And personally, it's the play I'm looking to go for as one of my forwards up front. So yeah, Tony as a buy is definitely a good choice to do this week, especially with the Bournemouth away fixture.
Yeah, and also as I've mentioned, Tony bringing him in. Isak's injured. A lot of Game Week 8 wildcard managers do have Isak, so Isak down to Tony looks like a very obvious move. So let us know, guys, what you think of Tony in the chat as well. Are you on Tony? Are you planning to bring him in? Because we do think he's a good pick for the next few games, and he definitely could get you some points. So yeah, let's move on now to some players that you should be looking to offload and sell for Game Week 9. And the first pick we have is Martin Odegaard. Now, Odegaard's on this list because he has been transferred in by quite a few managers I've seen, surprisingly. So we thought, we don't really understand why he's been transferred in as much. And for us, if you do have Odegaard, we'll probably look to offload him purely because, he's had a few good games this season, 6 appearances, 3 goals. So he has chipped in with goals, but I just think Game Week 9, he plays Tottenham, which is quite a tough game. Game Week 10, he's got Liverpool, which is not going to be another easy game. 11 looks, it looks good, but then 12 he blanks. So you have to plan for that in mind, guys, because Game Week 12, Arsenal don't have a fixture. So do you really want to be benching someone like Odegaard and carrying him through to Game Week 16? I don't see a point in that. I'd probably look to offload him and try bringing a player that's got a good Game Week 9 and Game Week 10 fixture. And then I don't think Odegaard's. Maybe I'm wrong, but let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with me or not? I just think you can get rid of him now. Next 2 fixtures are tough. He blanks in 12. Leeds looks okay, fair enough, but surely there's more other players, that have good fixtures in the next 3 or 4 games. Especially, there's Madison, there's Zaha, etc., with better fixtures. So that's just my thinking of Odegaard. I don't think we need to hold him till the World Cup. I just think if you've got Odegaard, I think now probably is probably the best time to sell him. And yeah, he's had a few transfers in, which was quite confusing. So that's why he's made the list for us anyway. So Odegaard is a sell. Anything else you want to add, Jordan, to that? Would you say he's a sell as well, or?
Yeah, I agree. Odegaard is a sell. This is what we talk about when we say fixture swings for teams, and it looks like Arsenal having that fixture swing with Tottenham home and then Liverpool home in game week 9 and 10, and then maybe you can have him for Leeds away, but there'd be no point having Odegaard just for one good fixture in the next 4 game weeks, because obviously after that, as we've spoken, game week 12, Arsenal do not play. So you only be really having Odegaard for game week 11, and that's if he does play in that game as well, as he is flagged as a injured player. But yeah, there is other players you can go for. I mean, around 6.5 million, there is options that you can go towards, unless you already have one Arsenal player like Martinelli or Jesus. I wouldn't be that you might want to keep just one Arsenal player. But if you have an Odegaard as well, then yeah, I'll be looking to sell Odegaard for someone else that has a better fixture run up until the World Cup, and who you think will get points in the next obviously 5 fixtures. Because do you see Odegaard getting many points in these fixtures on the screen? Not really. And you could probably say,
Yeah, I mean, he might, but we're playing the fixtures kind of thing.
yeah,
We're going off fixtures and the blank.
yeah, his ownership is dropping 16.4 at the moment, but he's he's been transferred in. Some people are transferring him out as well at the same time, so
Yeah.
it leaves his price at the same 6.5 million. And yeah, there's not much else to say about Odegaard. Yeah, he's just a sell, I would say, if you have extra Arsenal players that you want to get rid of.
Yeah, I know, because there are a few people that have Jesus. They've got Martinelli and maybe Odegaard. So there are a few people on triple Arsenal, and I don't think you need that anymore. I think you could get away with just one Arsenal player. Dare I say it, 0, because not to give much away, but my wild card actually has 0 Arsenal players in it. My Game Week 9 wild card, I'm planning to go without any Arsenal players. So no Martinelli. He's being sold as of now. So yeah, I think it's time to get rid of Arsenal players. If you were planning on getting rid of Arsenal players, now is probably the time with their fixture and their blank coming up in the next 4. But yeah, that is our thoughts on Odegaard and Arsenal in general. Let's move on to the second player on our list as a sell, and that is Isak. I think this one's obvious as well, because Isak did pick up an injury. It was actually, a few days ago, I think during international break. He's out, pretty much confirmed, for that Fulham game, which was on paper quite a nice fixture for Newcastle. But with Isak missing that game, Callum Wilson's back now, so Callum Wilson could be a good option for that game if it's a 1-week punt. But yeah, you can get rid of Isak. He's injured. He's not going to play game week 9. He might even miss game week 10, and then after that, fixtures don't look good. Man United and Tottenham in 11 and 13. So I'd be getting rid of Isak if I had him. I think there's no point holding him. Just move him to potentially a Tony or even a Solanke, Mitrovic if you don't have him. But yeah, Isak for us is an easy sell. Sherwin says, "Hi guys, is he worth a hit for Isak?" Oh, do you mean take Isak out? If you take Isak out for a hit, would you say that's worth it, Jordan? Depending who the other player you bring in, I guess, as well.
I mean, if you can manage it without taking a hit on Isak, then
I mean, you can downgrade Isak to Tony. I mean, I don't know why you need a hit. That's one move in it. Isn't that one move? So you could just go from Isak to Tony, and you'll have money to spare. So
yeah,
I'm confused what other move you have left to make. Do let us know, Sherwin.
Yeah, as long as you have 0.1 spare, then you can go from Isak to Tony.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. 7.1 he's at, isn't he? Isak, and
Yeah,
Tony's 7.2.
yeah,
So he's 0.1 short. So if you are 0.1 short, I think it could be worth. If you want Tony long term, then I think it's worth it, personally. Because like I say, that fixture, go back to Tony very quickly. Tony does play Bournemouth, which could be a good game for him. So maybe I probably would do it. I mean, Solanke as well, maybe you can go there without the hit, but I don't think Solanke's potential is as high as Tony's. But yeah, um, yeah. Well, so what's your thoughts overall? I mean, it's an easy sell, right? Injured, tough fixes after 11, and you got Tottenham as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, Isak's a easy sell. Obviously, he's not gonna feature in Game Week 9, definitely, and probably not in Game Week 10. So there's no real point keeping a player that's going to be injured for the next 2 game weeks at least. Like Isak, when you can go for like a Tony, for example, like we've spoken about, as he is around the same price almost. And yeah, he's a good swap out. I don't think there's any other suggestions to go for selling Isak for someone else, but yeah, Isak is a definite sell. I mean, he did give owners a penalty and scored, so at least you sell him with a return afterwards.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, Isak is a sell. I think there's other strikers that you should be going into. And yeah, that is the view on him. Let's move on to some players that are that people may own and that we reckon they should hold on to and give a bit more time to. So these are the players that guys you should look to still hold on to. And the first one is Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now Trent's ownership's dropped to 36.6%. A lot of managers did actually get rid of him on the wild card. Now this is maybe to more managers that aren't playing their wild card, or maybe you included him in your game week 8 and benched him. But I think Trent is still a hold if you own him somehow. I think we know he's not been great this season. I mean, Liverpool's defense hasn't been great this season in general. But if there's any player that we think that could turn it around, it's probably Trent against Brighton at home as a one-off fixture, because Liverpool are actually predicted as the best odds to keep a clean sheet this weekend against Brighton. So Liverpool do have a 54% chance of a clean sheet against Brighton, which is higher than any other team playing this weekend. So he could easily get a clean sheet in that game. Also, we know the attacking threat he does provide. We haven't seen as much this season so far, but 1 goal, 1 assist. His numbers are down from last year quite a bit, but if there's any game that he's going to bounce back, especially after the disappointment being left out by England. Maybe Trent has something to prove, and I think he could come back with a fighting chance to just show everyone how good he is again. And I don't back against Trent. He's definitely in my wild card. I think it's going to be nice having Trent and Salah, both of them, because I don't think many managers will be able to get both of them in unless obviously you're on a wild card. So yeah, I'm happy to have Trent in my wildcard 9 team. So I think if you do have him, maybe look to hold him, and then maybe if he doesn't do it against Brighton, maybe you can get rid of him against for Arsenal and City, which are 2 tough games. But I still like Trent. I just think even though that Liverpool aren't playing on form right now, I just think he has that potential to just pop out with a goal or assist and get a double-digit return from out of nowhere, really. And we know what Trent can do. As an option, and he's at 7.4 million now as also. Well, what's your thoughts on Trent Jordan? Because obviously, as a game week 8 wildcarder, you don't have Trent. You don't have any plans to bring Trent in. Are you worried about Trent potentially getting a haul against Brighton or anything, or you happy to go without Trent for the foreseeable future?
Until I see improvements from obviously Trent and in general Liverpool's defence, as I do expect to see now with most players back for Liverpool. Yes, it is a bit scary not going with Trent in that Brighton at home fixture. So, but I can't do anything about that because I can't bring him in without taking more than a -4 hit. But for the foreseeable future, I will be watching Trent against obviously Arsenal and Man City. I know they're tough fixtures, but I know Liverpool can have the potential to hold clean sheets against these teams on top of their form. And obviously, Trent's not all for clean sheets; he's also a goal threat as well. So I will be keeping an eye on that too. How his performance improves from previously. But if it's not too convincing for me, then I will be going without him for a longer term. But for those who do have him, obviously, you definitely want to hold on to Trent, and well done for holding on to Trent this far into the season, as Liverpool haven't been the best in defence, and obviously not many clean sheets for Liverpool in general. And yeah, Trent as a whole, definitely. I mean, after game week 11, we should see some nice stats from Trent, and obviously clean sheets, hopefully, with West
Also,
Ham at home and Nottingham Forest.
I'm just gonna ask you, how quickly can you get to Trent, for example, for your own team? Like, can you do it in one move? Because he's 7.4 million. Who would you sell to get Trent in? Because you can't. And I mean, assuming you don't have much money in the bank, can you get to him by one move or?
No, it would have to be two, unless I mitigate one free transfer each in the 2 weeks.
Okay.
Then
So
that's the only way I can get to him at the moment.
realistically, you're gonna go without him for game 9, 10, 11 as well, probably. So maybe West Ham when nearest time you look to bring someone like Trent in.
Yeah, because after I've made my transfers for Game Week 9, I probably won't need to change the team at all, really. So I can really, I could probably push transfers on top of one another, and then contemplate getting Trent back in Game Week 12 after their hard fixtures have passed from Arsenal and Man City.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, it's nice to see obviously different strategies as well. Because I'm on Trent. I think Trent is a good pick for game week 9. I can definitely see him getting something potentially in that game. So I'm happy to hold him as a bit of a differential as well. So yeah, guys, do let us know your thoughts on Trent as well. Are you planning to keep him? Is he in your wild card? Are you happy to go without Trent till after game week 11? Because next three, Arsenal, City. Do you want Trent for the next three, guys? Let us know, or are you happy to completely avoid him and bring him in for West Ham, and take that risk of Trent potentially getting something in those games, as we know he has the potential to do so. So that will be interesting to hear your thoughts on that one. Also, let's now move on to the second player that you should hold on to on the list, and that is Mitrovic. Mitrovic might be an interesting one on this list because I think a lot of people do own him. Obviously, his ownership is now 30%, and he's just on this list because he has been transferred out by not many managers, but he's been transferred out by quite a few managers, which I think is a bit surprising. I know they did win, didn't they, on the last game? They won 3-2, but Mitrovic didn't get a goal or an assist. So maybe managers just got annoyed, and then they thought, let's take Mitrovic out. But I wouldn't go. I wouldn't be that hasty on Mitrovic. I still think he's a good pick long term until the World Cup at least. So if you've got Mitrovic and you want to switch him to someone else, I don't know what other options there are because there's not. I mean, obviously there's Tony Solanke if you want to go there. There's obviously Isak's now injured. Maybe you want to take a punt on someone like Jota or Nunez, etc., which is interesting because I've seen a bit of chat about that. But we think Mitrovic is still a hold. Game week 9 and Newcastle at home. Not the best fixture, but he could still get something in that game. As we've seen, he scored against Liverpool, he scored against Arsenal. So at that price, 6.9 million, you can't really go wrong with him. And the fixtures long term, as we've said with Mitrovic, at many a time, his fixtures till game week 16 look very good. And he's on penalties. He's going to play 90 minutes. XG per 90 as well, ridiculously high at 0.71. So I think he's a good pick. And I think he's one he's a set and forget for me. He's just a set and forget till game week 16. I don't plan on taking him out unless he does something terrible or get, unless obviously he gets an injury or his form, nose dives or something. But Bournemouth in game week 11 looks like a good fixture. You could even captain him as well in game week 11, potentially. Because obviously Haaland and Salah play against each other, I believe. So maybe you don't want to captain one of them in that game. You could go for someone interesting like Mitrovic. Leeds in game week 13 looks as good as well. But yeah, would you be holding on to Mitrovic, Jordan? Think any transfers out is just a bit too reactionary at the moment in time?
Oh yeah, definitely. The man has only blanked 2 times this season, and people are transferring him out already. I mean, trying to make more problems for yourself transferring Mitrovic out. I mean, look at his fixtures. He's another player you can pretty much hold until the World Cup begins in Game Week 16. So just to make your problems more easy, it's probably best just to hold on to Mitrovic. I know he blanked last game,
Last game.
but I was pretty unlucky in some extent. But he's a player that can always return goals despite him just blanking twice this season. And with the run of fixtures, all those fixtures are like he can score in, if I'm honest. I mean, he's proven it against even hard teams like Arsenal and Liverpool. So there's no shred of doubt that I'll be getting rid of Mitrovic even after I brought him in and he blanked. But I do expect a lot more coming from Mitrovic in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
And I'd feel very, very unwell if I did sell Mitrovic now at this point with the run of fixtures he has coming up. And as well, it just helps ease the headache of choosing players in positions. I mean, Mitrovic is an easy position to fill in, which you can be confident on holding for in Game Week 16. So, yeah, he's easily a hold, Mitrovic.
Okay, yeah, I agree pretty much there. I think I'd be keeping Mitrovic if I had him, or I do have him, and he's coming into my wildcard team for sure. So yeah, guys, Mitrovic, easy hold. Let's move on now to the next player that we think you should hold on to, and ignore. So we've done the holds. These are the players that you should ignore, and the first player on the list is Perisic. Perisic, he's played 7 times this season. I think 3 were off the bench. And you look at his stats, 3 assists, which is quite good, I'd say, for the amount of time he's played. We know what Perisic's ceiling is. He's a very good option when he does play. He's got a lot of attacking threat, etc. You look at his expected assist per 90 at 0.44, which is, very high for a wing back. But I think he's one that we probably look to ignore just because the fixtures, Arsenal in Game Week 9, do we see a clean sheet for Spurs in that one? Probably not. Brighton, I mean, it could be a decent fixture. Okay, Everton in Game Week 11 does look good. And Man United in Game Week 12, maybe Tottenham do concede in that one as well. And also, to add on top of that, he's a rotation risk, as we've seen. And even when he's not a rotation risk, he's a minutes risk. So when he does play, sometimes, he does get subbed off after 60, 65 minutes and he doesn't play the full 90. As I've seen myself in the last game week when he got an assist because he didn't go make the 60 minutes mark, he didn't get a point for that. So, with Perisic, if he was playing 90 minutes every game, I think he would be a really great option. But because he doesn't even complete 90 minutes most of the time, I think he's one that you probably look to ignore. I just think there's better defenders, well, probably better defenders for FPL at the moment where you're going to play full games like, James, Trent, Cancelo, Trippier. These defenders that I'd probably be looking to get in ahead of Perisic at the moment in time. And even cheaper defenders, I'd be going for, even Trippier, for example. I think at that price bracket, you save money on Trippier as well. I'd definitely be going Trippier over Perisic. And then maybe look to have a couple premiums in there. So yeah, for me, Perisic is an ignore, as I mentioned, why minutes risk, and also the fact that fixtures aren't too great. What's your thoughts on Spurs, Jordan, and Perisic?
Yeah, I mean, with Perisic, you never can tell unless there's rumours about that if he will start in a game or not. And if he does start in the game, how many minutes he plays, will he play the 60 minutes enough for them to get a clean sheet? Because he was subbed off in his last match at the 54th minute, which was, by my view, a bit early for Conte to take Perisic off, despite the way the match was going. It was a bit I'm confused at why that
I'm
was.
actually checking just now. He's only played one 90-minute game this season. So he's played it. He's played the only 90-minute match he played in was against Forest. Sorry, my bad. I'm just seeing who he played 90 minutes against. It was West Ham. So West Ham in game week 5, when Spurs drew 1-1, that is the only time he's played 90 minutes, and he ended up with 1 point because he got a yellow card. The time he got his haul, we know he did haul in game week 3 against Wolves. He got an assist, bonus points, and he played 75 minutes. So I think he's a bit of a, I don't want to say, I don't know, because Adam in the chat says he's a troll. Say, hey guys, Perisic is a troll, lures you in, often frustrates one way or another. I can see why people do think he's a bit of a troll, because he either plays and he might get you a 12 point or 11 point now, but there's other times where he just get you 1 point because he'll play, they'll concede. Like, for example, in the Fulham game, he only played 6 minutes. Against Leicester, he played 54 minutes. Against West Ham, he played 90. Nottingham Forest, he played 73. Wolves, he played 75. Against Chelsea, he played 11 minutes. And then against Southampton, he played 24 minutes. So that should say it all. I just probably would ignore him. I want someone more nailed. Would you agree?
Yeah, there's many more options. Unfortunately for Perisic's price, he would have been ideal because he's 5.6, but you may have to go looking for a little bit more cheaper defender instead of Perisic if you want an attacking one as well, one that keeps clean sheets. But it's a bit unfortunate the way Conte plays Perisic, because if he did play a lot of minutes more, that are more efficient and more every game sort of thing, then he would look more attractive for us to buy him. But yeah, I think now that we see the clear statistics of how Conte plays Perisic, I think he is an ignore, especially for the fixture run that Spurs have coming up in the next 5. It's not looking too great. I mean, Everton's probably the best one you're going to get there, and that's if Perisic does start in that game as well, because we've mentioned the rotation risk that he has that goes with him. So yeah, Perisic is an ignore. I'm surprised that his ownership is still relatively high though, at 27.2. I thought that would be much more reduced, but a lot of people have faith in him still.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with Perisic. He's definitely not coming into my wildcard team. I've not actually thought about bringing in any Spurs players, to be honest, on my wildcard team. I just think he's too much of a risk and a bit of a headache to bring in, because you're going to keep hoping that he starts and gets the double-digit return. He might get you one every now and then, but then he'll also be benched for like 2 or 3 games. So yeah, I'd stay away from that headache of Perisic personally. But yeah, that is the first ignore on the list, guys. Let's move on to the second player as an ignore, and the final player of today, and that is Saliba, who's also an ignore for us. He has been transferred in by quite a few managers as well. Looking at the FPL website, we are a bit unsure why that is the case. I know he's had a very good start to the season, and Arsenal have as well. He's already got 2 goals this season in 7 appearances for centre back at 4.5 when the season started off, which is very, very good. If you did have him for all this time, well done for for the returns. But I just think if you're transferring him in now, I don't really see much point in bringing him in, because Tottenham, we expect Tottenham to get a goal in that game. Liverpool, we expect Liverpool to get a goal as well. Leeds, could even score against them. I know you'd expect them to beat Leeds, but Leeds could score. And then in game week 12, he doesn't play, so I wouldn't be bringing in Saliba personally. I just don't see why you'd want to bring him in ahead of players like even a Mark Guehi at Palace, who's got decent fixtures and obviously doesn't have a blank. So this one it was a bit surprising to see him with that many transfers in. I'm just going to double check now, Jordan, how many transfers in he actually has, but I know it was quite a decent amount when I checked. Saliba. So Saliba has. Okay, I'm on my phone, so it's a bit more. He already has 223,000 transfers in, Saliba, which is a bit crazy. I don't know why people are bringing him in, if I'm honest. Tottenham, Liverpool, and then a blank in 12. What do you make of it, Jordan? 223,000 managers have transferred him in ahead of this game week 9. Do you think that's...
I'm assuming those 223 managers that transferred him in are all Arsenal fans, because I can't imagine who else would be transferring Saliba in with those fixtures.
Yeah, I mean, he's played really well. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, he's been brilliant. at a 4.5 million option. But I think now isn't the time to bring him in. I think now is probably time to get rid of him. So yeah, if you're bringing him in, I don't know. I'd be definitely ignoring him. I think there's much better other defenders. Trippier for one, as I mentioned, with a better fixture run to come ahead of 9 and beyond.
Yeah, I think if you're buying him now, it's pretty much too late because you probably won't get much from him. Now after game week 9 and game week 10, definitely not much from Saliba. I mean, he is really good though if Arsenal have corners because he is that goal threat from headers, which I think that's where his 2 goals came from. But other than that, you have to sort of rely on his clean sheets because if Arsenal are not getting corners and obviously that kind of like set pieces, then Saliba doesn't really get much from open play because he's not that attacking in defence. He's more of obviously a centre back at the
yeah.
at the
Yeah,
back
because
of us.
obviously, yeah, and also with Saliba, he has scored, but if you're relying on those goals, I mean, you could dry up, next 2 especially, and I think is as Adam is in the chat as a Saliba owner himself, he says happy to have Saliba this season, but time to jump ship. The blank confirms it for me, and they might not keep a clean sheet till then. Yeah, I pretty much agree. I don't expect him to keep a clean sheet against Tottenham or Liverpool, and Leeds, obviously, another team I do believe that can get a goal, but will probably lose that game anyway. Leeds, but yeah, that's just my opinion. And you've also got to plan what you do with your Arsenal players, because Arsenal and Man City, a lot of us have Haaland, a lot of us have Cancelo. People have got Jesus. Some of Martinelli is highly owned. So when that game does come along, game week 12, you can only bench 3 players. If you've got 4 or 5 Arsenal City players, you're going to be in a bit of a pickle. So you got to decide, guys, how you're going to navigate that 12 blank. And I wouldn't have too many Arsenal players personally because it just gives you a headache in game week 12 when you have to get rid of all of them. And you might have to take hits, etc. But probably isn't the most optimal thing to do. So do bear that in mind. That Arsenal and Man City both are blanking in game week 12. But yeah, those are the players, guys. Let's just quickly recap on the players that we've selected for this video. So the 2 players that we recommend that you buy for game week 9 and beyond as well is Salah and Tony. We think they're 2 pretty good buys for this week if you do have them. They've got good fixtures as well. 2 players that you should sell on. You should sell Odegaard and you should also sell Isak. And the 2 players you'd hold on to are Trent and Mitrovic. And the 2 players that we think you could ignore for now is Perisic and Saliba. So those are the 8 players that we've compiled for you guys. Do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, there's a few of you watching. If you haven't liked the video, guys, please do drop a like on the video if you can. Also, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the FPL Duo YouTube channel, where we provide you guys with FPL content, every few days where we stream. So if you do like what you see, do subscribe to our channel. It really helps our channel and helps our growth and algorithm. So yeah, do like and subscribe on the video if you can, guys. That would be very, very helpful. So yeah. Also, got another comment here. If anyone's got any more comments, do drop it in below. We'll answer some of your questions regarding your teams, and we will, do our best to help you guys out. Sherwin says, would you sell Martinelli? Yes, we've built value in him, but he'd still be very cheap to transfer back into your team. Personally, I think I am gonna. I was gonna do my team selection on Thursday, but you know what? For you guys, I'll let you know what I'm doing anyway. So yeah, I do plan to get rid of Martinelli, and that might sound mad to some people because he's how good he's been this season. But I am willing to go without Martinelli. I think. So I've got the fixtures on the screen. So Martinelli has Tottenham, Liverpool, Leeds, blank. I know he's. I bought him in for 6 million as well. I had him since game week 1. But I think because he's if you sell him for 6.6, which he's at currently, you bring him back for 6.3. I don't think that's that expensive where you'll struggle to bring him back in. For example, you can just downgrade a Maddison, downgrade a Zaha if you really wanted to bring Martinelli in. I don't think we should be scared to get rid of players that we have value tied up in, especially if you think there's better players elsewhere. For example, unless you think Martinelli is going to outperform Zaha and Maddison and Bowen, etc., for the next 3 or 4 games, and you keep Martinelli. But if you're like me and you think Martinelli's got some tough games against Liverpool and Tottenham, and you think there's probably a better chance of getting points elsewhere, I'd just look to transfer him out. I don't think we should. I don't think we should be too tied up into the fact that we don't want to lose value, etc. I think he's cheap enough to bring back in. If it was Haaland, for example, Haaland was like 11.5, wasn't he, when the game started?
Yeah,
He's now 12. Is he
he's
12
12
now?
million. Yeah, he's
He's
based
one
on the
that I
rise
would
again.
be. Yeah, he's one I would be scared to get rid of because I got a bit of value tied on him because he's quite expensive to get back to. Martinelli, I think, is cheap enough that if you don't like his fixtures and the form, etc., or the fixture swing, I think he's one that you could get rid of. But obviously, I know it's a risk. Martinelli is highly owned. A lot of managers have him. He's played very well this season, so you will be taking a bit of a risk. But as for me, speaking for myself, I am actually willing to take that risk and go without Martinelli for the next few games, if I'm honest. So I know, Jordan, you've got Martinelli out, haven't you? So your thoughts might be different
Yeah,
on it.
yeah. Martinelli is the only Arsenal player I have left in my team after I wildcarded in Game Week 8, and I'm not in a real rush to get rid of Martinelli. In the next 3 game weeks at least. I think after Leeds in Game Week 11, it's probably the latest I could probably hold Martinelli, and then I'll probably have to get rid of him by then because obviously he will blank in Game Week 12. But looking at his ownership is still relatively high. I think it's in the 40s still. I think I'll be still safe just to keep him in, even though he might not get much from Tottenham and Liverpool. But the Leeds away fixture, there's potential for Martinelli to get something from there as well. And yeah, I'd just like to hold on to him until his ownership dips a little bit more, coming closer to the blank in Game Week 12.
Yeah. Also, he does blank in 12, but he's got pretty good fixtures. I mean, he's got Southampton in game week 13, and he's got Nottingham Forest in game week 14. So those fixtures do look a bit better, but I think that's still quite like a while away. So I'm gonna get rid of him, and if I see he's still doing well and performing well, I might bring him in for 13, 14 potentially. But I think I might just go without him until the World Cup. I think that he might be just gone. I don't probably plan to bring him in. So do let us know your thoughts, guys, as well in the comments of Martinelli and Arsenal. Are you guys happy to go without any Arsenal players, as I am on my wild card? No Arsenal players for me. So is that a risk, or obviously they are playing really well? I'm interested to hear what your thoughts, guys.
I have seen a lot of people when Madison has a tough fixture. I don't know when it is, but a lot of people are thinking of swapping out Madison for Saka when Arsenal have Nottingham Forest. That's just what I've seen as an easier transfer in if you can't get Martinelli in.
I mean, yeah, well, Saka is more money, but yeah, you could do that. Saka also another good option potentially. So yeah, why not? Also, Adam says this buy sell hold void series is on point. Cheers, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you for your comments. Kwanda also says, good evening, lads. October will be very busy, but wildcard being active is a bonus. Yeah, well, busy. It's going to be busy. Obviously, a lot of games going to kick off again. There's going to be a lot of teams are playing every 3 days pretty much. So it's going to be hectic. A lot of football, but that's what we enjoy, I guess. And a lot of streams to come, guys. So do subscribe if you haven't, so you don't miss anything. And also, as always, I've got to say, guys, do like the stream because it really helps our channel out. Sherwin says, who you bringing in his place? Well, so I did a video a couple days ago. So if you haven't, do check the wildcard video out after you watch this stream. But just very quickly, I plan to have Trent, Cancelo, James, and Trippier. So I plan to have 4 like quite expensive defenders, or 3 premium defenders if you count James as a premium defender. So I'm about to make a sacrifice in midfield. So I plan to play with the back 4, which is, I know back 3 is more popular at the moment, but I do want to have Cancelo. So I've had to pick: do I want Cancelo or do I want Martinelli? And it's come down to that basically. And I've chosen to go Cancelo because I know Cancelo has a blank as well in 12, but Cancelo's fixtures after that as well look good. So I know I want Cancelo. Let me just bring up Cancelo's fixtures. So Cancelo plays Man United. I know isn't the toughest. It is a bit of a tough game, obviously Manchester derby, but I still believe in Cancelo can get something in that game. He's got Southampton in game week 8, which I definitely want him for because I think that's a good fixture for Cancelo. He plays Liverpool in 11, which, okay, it's a bit tough maybe for them. Blank in 12, but then after 12, Cancelo's fixtures look very, very good. He's got Brighton, Leicester, Fulham, Brentford. And I know I want Cancelo for those 4 games. So that's my reasoning. I just think after 13, Cancelo's got some nice fixtures. And if people don't have him because they've got expensive midfielders, hopefully that could pay off for me. But obviously at the moment, could be a risk because big at the back hasn't really paid off so far this season. But I'm still willing to die on the hill that it will come back somehow, and I will benefit from that big at the back. But we'll have to wait and see. You want to take some comments, Jordan?
Yeah, All Sports fan Adam says Martinelli is kind of 50-50 for me. Liverpool can't defend, and Spurs have looked a bit leaky. He's cheap enough to get rid of, but also cheap enough to keep. Maybe until the right transfer in. Yeah, I have actually thought about that myself. I mean, Liverpool has not been that great in defence, but I do expect it to be better coming up to that match that they have against each other. Fair enough for Spurs, they have looked at times a bit vulnerable in defence too. There hasn't been like the proper solid defence that you expect from Spurs always. So yeah, there's always that chance that Martinelli can get an assist, maybe a potential goal in those fixtures, but it all depends on especially how Liverpool play, because we haven't seen them play for a while, so we don't know what sort of state they will be in terms of defence, but I do expect them to be much better than what they have been previously.
Yeah, or hopefully anyway for my sake. I'm going with Trent and Salah on Game Week 9. I'm expecting something big from both of them because they haven't performed so far at their level. So let's see. I could go Eze or Bailey, but I have some money free. I've actually included Bailey in a draft. So I know Bailey's a massive troll as well. So he's actually currently in my draft. So maybe that will change. You'll have to wait and see, guys. But if you haven't already, do check out my wildcard video that we did. Sorry. Literally our last video, we done it about 5 days ago. So after this one, if you want to watch my wildcard draft, because I am wildcarding in Game Week 9. So if you haven't already, do check us out on that video. It's my wildcard team. Nothing has really changed. So you're still quite relevant. So do check it out if you can. Sherwin says, is Harvey Barnes an option considering the fixtures? Yeah, I think you could be, definitely. You know, if you want to go double Leicester and then maybe take Barnes out for Zaha the week after when Zaha's fixtures turn good again. So, because obviously Zaha plays Chelsea this week, so maybe you could go without Zaha and look to book a transfer in. But I don't really like booking transfers in. But I do think Barnes could be a good option because Leicester have a good run despite their poor performance. But yeah, we are going to wrap it up here. We just want to say a big thank you to everyone that has joined the stream. If you have liked the content, please do drop a like. Also, share this on your Twitter, on your Instagram, on your socials if you can, because it really helps us out as well. And yeah, guys, is there anything else you want to add, Jordan, before we do head out? Anything else you want
to add? I think that's pretty much it. I have nothing more to add on to it, but thanks for everyone that's joined the chat. I mean, it has been a while, but it's nice to see you familiar faces in the chat. So yeah,
yeah.
Thank you for joining our stream.
Yeah, obviously, we want to say a big thank you to everyone that did join the stream. And yeah, as Adam said, do check the wildcard video out, guys. And yeah, that's it from us. We are back again on Thursday. So do join us Thursday, 7 p.m. UK time for a team selection video where you will see my active wildcard. And you will also see Jordan's transfer plans regarding what we plan to do for Game Week 9. So it should be a good team selection video. And as always, back again on Saturday for a team selection, 10 a.m. UK time. I believe it is. So yeah. But yeah, share this, guys. Share the video if you did enjoy it. Also like it. And we are out of here. But yeah, thank you to everyone. And see you guys on Thursday. Take care, guys. And have a good one.
Yeah, see you Thursday, guys. Take care.